That way, in case somebody can't make it in, we will have the recording available. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I sent out a message reminding people about the 7 o'clock. And the reason being is because you made it through what I consider one of the hardest weeks, which is the first week. You get tossed into a class that probably wasn't at the top of your list as what you wanted. Everybody wants those hands-on in-person classes. You got thrown into an online class, and then you got thrown into a computer class on top of that. And then you have to learn a whole new set of this is how the class works and a new instructor. So that's a lot of adjusting to get used to. Then in the middle of all that, we had a major hack that happened. It didn't affect just us, but it was actually Instructure. Instructure is who runs Canvas. So what that did was it was approximately 15,000 plus universities, colleges, all the way from kindergarten on up classes, including Broward County and Dade County school systems. Everybody got affected by this major hack. And so we lost a lot of time. So I don't want you to fret about that. Extensions are available. And so the way extensions work in this class, every week on Monday, there is an assignment that will pop up. And what that assignment is, it's a self-evaluation. Okay. And the reason why I have that in there is because people need to know where you are in the class. How are you doing? I don't want you to get to the end of the class and surprise you're doing really well or surprise you're not doing really well. So the purpose of that is for a number of reasons. Uh, Different companies are doing this as part of your review. They will ask you to review yourself, and they honestly want to know how well you think you're doing. And if you just say, "Oh, I'm doing great, 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 great," that's not really isn't really going to help you. They're going to toss that review out. So part of their review process is they're going to have you review yourself, and then they're going to have your coworkers review you, and then your supervisor. So this little evaluation, what it does is it has you go back and put in your grades that you earned last week. Okay? Literally go back, look at your grades, and write them or type them in. And the reason being is be aware of what you did. Now, this isn't to grade shame anybody other. If you didn't do well, this is the time to fix it the week after. Okay? So, and like I said, we had some downtime. You may not have had time to finish everything. So as you continue through that self-evaluation down at the bottom, it asks you, did you finish everything? Answer truthfully. No. If something happens, the best thing you can do on the job is be honest about it. Because if you're not, they're going to find out anyway. Has anybody ever done something majorly wrong on the job? I have. I've done something, and oh boy, it was a major mistake. Wasn't intentional, but it was a major mistake, okay? Things happen. You correct them, okay? Don't hide from mistakes. You correct them. And if a place doesn't give you the option to correct them, that's not the place to be because people make mistakes. That's humanity, all right? And if they don't allow you to make a mistake, then there's something wrong there. Now, there are some exceptions to that, I know, but you should be given the opportunity to redeem yourself. This is where that is. The next couple of ones, it will always list what those assignments are that you're allowed to make up. Discussions, you're never allowed to. So please always get those 3 posts in the discussions, all right? Okay, so it'll list it and says, do you need an extension? True or false? If you do, true. You need that extension. Then what's going to happen? It's going to give you a ridiculous grade. ignore that grade. I have to manually grade those. And what I'll do is I'll see, yeah, you need an extension. I go give you that extension. All right. No question. I give you the extension, you get points, and you earn attendance all at the same time. Everybody got that? You understand? See how that works? That's how you ask for the extension. If you don't need the extension, you say, I don't need it. False, I don't need the extension. What that does is that still gives you the points and you earn attendance. All right. And I open the assignments for those who need it and those who don't. It's not a deal. Okay. That's how those extensions get in. It keeps me from getting a bunch of emails and a bunch of texts and keeps things from being missed. All right. So everybody's good on that? Yes. And so I'm looking to make sure everybody got that. All right. Okay. So that's how extensions happen. Okay. Now, how long is an extension? An extension will go through until Sunday. So if you ask for that extension today, you have till Sunday. If you don't ask for that extension until Wednesday, you still only have till Sunday. If you ask for that extension on Friday, you still only have till Sunday. See where this is going? Extensions cannot go beyond this Sunday. After this Sunday, week 1 cannot be opened for you. All right? That means in week 3 and week 4, week 1 assignments cannot be opened. This is your only chance to make those up. All right? So if you don't make these assignments up this week, you cannot open them up when you need those points in the final week. Okay? Want to make sure everybody understands that. And these assignments do not automatically open for everyone. You have to take ownership and request them. Okay, so that's how those open. And so I want to make sure everyone is aware of that because I'm more than willing to work with everyone. But this is part of the way things work. And I want to make sure everybody uh, understands that because that's the best way to do it to make sure everybody gets those. Anybody who has requested an extension through that assignment, those are in there and ready to go. All right. So that's where we are right there. Now, we have coming up, we have a holiday on Monday in the last week. The last week ends on Thursday, so it's already a short week and it gets cut by a week. And so I'm aware of this. And so I'm going to show you tonight what I'm going to do to help everybody out because I want to make sure that y'all have the best of the best because y'all deserve it. All right. So here we go. We are going to be going through this. And tonight, one of the benefits of being in here, I'm doing the full demo of that project. So I'm going to show you what you need to do to complete that project tonight. And it doesn't take long, but this way, if you have questions, you can ask them immediately. All right, so here we go. And I want to make sure that I add in this extra screen here. So give me one moment here so I can make sure that I see any questions that pop up. There we go. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. And so I'm going to partially view this as a student, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to have to make some adjustments so I can do some stuff here. Okay, so here we are. A couple of things. Do not try to launch your assignments through McGraw-Hill SimNet or the to-do list, because if you do, you're going to get some strange errors. Uh, Primarily, if you try to do that, you're going to get these errors that say uh, that the view's not available, things like that. Make sure you always go through the modules, okay? When you go to submit your project, if you get confused as to how to do it, there is a thing under the modules under here on help downloading and saving projects, etc. If you click on that, there is information specifically for this Word project. I'm going to show you tonight, but you can always reference that in case you need it. Okay, so I want to make sure that everyone's aware. I do keep those things around for you to help with that. Okay, we are finished with week 1. So we're going to come down here to week 2. Everything for you is broken up by week. And so we are in here. This self-evaluation is due tonight. Now, it will stay open all the way through the week like your assignments do, but the reason why it says due tonight, this will help you gain attendance. Click on that, and this is the quiz that loads up. It's called a quiz, but it's not. You come in here, you'll click on that blue button, and it will ask you the questions, okay? And you'll be given a thing that says, in week 1, the class focused on blah, 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 blah. In the week 1 discussion, you were given 20 points for the first one, 20 for the second, 60 for the other. Total points you could have got was 100 points. What was your score? If you got the full 100 points, you just type that, click next. And then on the chapter, total points was 100. If you weren't able to do it, if you got a 0, whatever you got, just put that in. Click next. And then your quiz. If you didn't do that, be honest. I want you to always be honest in whatever your work is. Okay, click next. And then this is where you think about what happened to your week. Okay, did you think there were too many assignments? Well, there was only, you know, 3 assignments. Now, I want you to think if you were in a campus class, you would have been expected to be there 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, 16 hours. I don't think that was very many. So, no, not very much on a scale. And how difficult did you think it was? Well, you might have thought it was kind of difficult. You be the judge on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, here's the thing. How much was interfering outside the class? You had a lot of distractions? Maybe you had a lot going on in your life. Put in how bad it was. Okay? Now, confusing. Can be confusing starting the class. Yeah, I was confused. I wasn't sure where to go. Now, the reason why I ask those questions, I'm trying to figure out where your head is at in the class. Okay? There's no right or wrong answer for those. Okay? Now, this one here, if you watched the live session and were in it last week, it's an O. If you didn't attend the live session but watched the recording, it's an R. If you skipped both, it's an F. That does not have anything to do with the grade. I was trying to figure out what letter to put in and just happened to look at my keyboard and that was it. If you did both, it's a B. Well, I'd skipped both, so I'm just going to check that. Boom, go to the next. Okay, I did not complete all of them. I put false. I need an extension, so I check true. And I need an extension there. I click true. Submit that. Once you've finished this, you click submit. And there we go. Now it says I got 0 points. That's correct. Ignore what the score says because I have to grade this. It does not auto grade, okay? And then go back to the modules. Now what's going to happen? That's going to trigger me to grade that, meaning I will give you the 100 points if you did the whole thing, and then I will check to see if you need extensions. All right? Does everybody got that? That's how I know you need extensions. I open that up and I read that and I give you those extensions. So that's how that works. Okay. And then that way I don't have to track down text messages and emails and try to remember who gets what. Okay. So that's how that works. And that will happen every week. Next week, you will evaluate week 2 and so on. Okay. Now, everything in this week is open. You can work through this entire week as quickly as you like. So Wednesday, your first discussion is due, okay? Meaning your first post, I should specify. So click on this, and this week we're talking about Word. Now, most people have kind of heard about Word by now, and we're not talking vanilla ice Word to your mother Word. We're talking about the program. And it's used for creating documents. You may have done it for school, etc. But think about your career. You don't have to think about the others, but yours. If you're in welding, doing job estimates, safety procedures, inspection reports for weld quality. HVAC has maintenance checklists, installation guide, service agreement, etc., etc. Everybody has different uses for it. So I want to know why it's important to you as a professional to produce clear, accurate documents. Everyone needs them, but why? Think about it from that point. How would it benefit you? What can you gain from it? Think about how it looks to you as a professional when you give somebody a professional document. So that's where I want you to go with this, okay? And come down here and remember 3 posts. Your first one's due Wednesday, but I really recommend when you go in there, if you see other people posting in there, post on them. Knock this out. Get your 3 posts done. Get that 100 points. Get it finished, okay? Because you're already in there. Click reply, type in your response, and boom, I'm going to type in demo just because that's what I'm doing here. Click reply, and you can see other people have already started replying. Boom, boom, boom. You can knock that one done. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my modules. So tonight I could easily come in here. I could do this evaluation and I could get my 3 posts done. Boom, boom. Okay. Now you have 3 chapters this week, so you have more work. So a chapter on average, now I've been teaching this class for over 8 years. So your book tells me how long it takes a student to do a chapter. On average, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay. So one of the things to do is to get in here, click on that chapter. It's going to load up. And just like your chapter last week, you click on the item and you have 3 options. Okay. The show me plays that video. The guide me does the step by step. The let me try. This is the one that gets you the point. Okay. When you click in that and you're in here, if you need extra help, don't forget on the left-hand side where it says show hint, it will give you extra help. If you find you're struggling with it, click on that guide me, go back a step, or click on show me, go play the video again. But you can jump straight back to that let me try once you get that extra help. There is no problem with doing these things as much as you need to. But if you find yourself really struggling with one, send me a text message and say, I'm in chapter 1 or I'm in chapter 2. And up here in that left-hand corner, I'm on skill 1 of 16 up here. See that in the upper left-hand corner? I highlighted in blue. I'm in skill 1 of 16 and I'm not getting it. Can you help me? And then go over here on the right side, that arrow next to guide me, click on that, go to the next one. They do not get harder the further you go, but don't beat yourself in the head not getting something, okay? Now, SimNet requires everything to be perfect. I told you that last week, but it does work. If you're trying it on a phone, it doesn't work, okay? Every month I have people try. They tell me it doesn't work. I go in and I look and it will tell me they're coming in on Android. They're coming in on iOS. I'm like, you're on a phone. It doesn't work. Don't try it, okay? The other one, if you're using Edge, Microsoft Edge, it's more likely to hang or have issues. Please use Chrome. I don't get money for telling you to use Chrome. I have a Mac, I have a PC, and I have a Chromebook here. They all work better with this book using Chrome. Okay. I've used Mozilla, I've used Safari, I've used Edge, I've used them all. It works better. So please save yourself some time and use Chrome. It works on all of them, and that will give you the least bit of headache. All right. So I'm not going to go through all of these because it does show you what to do. And I want to concentrate on the demo and things that I can show you as well. So I'm going to come back to the modules and go back down here. If you click on these arrows, it'll close those so that you don't have to scroll through them. So those are the 3 chapters that you have, and just work through them. Know if you have less than 100 on one of these chapters, you have missed items. And your grade will be high, and as soon as you start the next chapter, it's going to drop. Because as soon as you start that next chapter, you have a 0. And it keeps your score as you go. So as you work your way through the chapter, your grade will go back up, and then when you start the next chapter, it drops. The quiz works like your quiz from last week. You'll click Take Exam. You'll say, I agree, and start exam. And it will tell you exactly what it wants you to do. It will show you the items here. There are no hints, but if you click on something and you get it wrong, don't forget the hint does appear up here at the top. Take out that phone, take the picture before you click continue. Follow the steps in the picture, and remember, when it says Home tab, tabs are these things at the top up here where my arrow's going. I know it's grayed out. Groups are these ones listed at the bottom where it says clipboard, font, and paragraph, etc. Okay, so again, this up here, file, home, insert, draw, those are tabs, clipboard, font, paragraph, those are the groups. So follow those directions and keep going. And that's how you do that quiz. All right. So that'll get you through those. When are these things due? Self-evaluation due today, but stays open throughout the entire week. The difference is you get attendance for this tonight. You don't get attendance for it afterwards. Week 2 discussion, first post due Wednesday, okay? If you do this on Wednesday, you will have attendance for Thursday. If not, you will need to either do this or one of these things for attendance on Thursday. Okay? Anything not completed by Thursday will remain open and will need to be completed by Sunday at midnight. All right? Okay. The last item left to open and do is this purchase request. Okay. Couple of things on the purchase request. You will do this in Microsoft Word. You do not have to purchase Word. I will show you where to get it for free. There's specific instructions to follow, or you might be asked to purchase it, and you do not need to, okay? Your project will look like this, okay? This is the format you will follow. These little squares here, they are not part of the project. This is showing you where information goes, okay? Do not include these little brackets, all right? Okay, you can add things to this, but this is what information needs to be in here, including these tables, okay? The tables are part of the project, okay? And all the information that will go in here. Now, we do come up with totals. You can use a calculator and type the totals in this project. Doing the math automatically in this table is a pain, and I don't want you to have to mess with that. All right, so let's get started on this project. That's the main part of this class tonight, is going over this. Is everybody good so far? Yes, we're good. Want to make sure we are ready to do this. So the very first thing we're going to do is we are going to go to the student portal, and we are going to click on Microsoft 365. Okay. And if you have not been in here that day, you'll be asked to sign in. Your sign in is the same as your Canvas login and password. Okay. I do not have your passwords. If you do not have your password or do not know it, you will have to reset it, as none of us know your password. Okay. So you'll click sign in and it will ask you for that information. Mine usually rolls on through. Okay. The next thing you'll need to do is find the apps. Mine, for whatever reason, are all the way down in the lower left-hand corner where it says apps way down there. I click on that, and then I click on more apps, and I see Word in the list right here. And it is going to open. And here I'm going to do create blank document. And that's going to open up this blank document in Word. Now, this may not be the way you expect Word to look like across the top. What I like to do is come all the way to the right-hand side, and there's a little arrow pointing down, and when I hover over it, it says Ribbon Display Options. Click on that once and choose Classic Ribbon, and you'll see your display open up, and it looks more like what you might be used to. Now that you have that, I'm going to make my display a little bit bigger so that we can see it. I'm going to go into View, and under Zoom, I'm going to click that next to the 100%, and I'm going to say Fit. That just made my screen take up the entire space there, so that'll make it a little bit easier for you to see. Now, the very first thing I want to do is I want to type up here, Southern Technical College. And then there is a pipe symbol, which that is a shift of the backward slash, which is above my return key on my keyboard. So that's what it looks like. And then you put in the campus that you go to. I'm closest to Auburndale right now, so I'm going to type in Auburndale. And I mean physically, that's the closest campus to where I'm sitting right now. Not like closest as in, or dating type situation. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type the words purchase order, and then I'm going to hit return. Now, I have a big space there, but if I back up and I do a shift return, I can have a smaller gap there. Okay. Now, I need to have at least 2 columns in my table. And I'm going to do insert table. Now, to make putting in my information easier, I'm actually going to go 4 spaces wide, and I need it to be 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So I'm going to go 4 down. And if you notice, the table will keep count for me. That's why it says 4 by 4 table. And then I'll click and it creates it for me. My first space is going to say vendor name. Below that, it's going to say address. And then below that, phone. And below that, website. I'm going to come up and use my tab key to get over to this one. And I'm going to type in ship to, then address, then contact, and then email. Okay. Now, we are making a purchase order and we're going to fill this information in just a minute. And then underneath here, I am going to have a date. And I'm going to make that today's date. And then use the tab key to space. Using the tab key is better than using that space bar. It makes things line up better. And a PO number. This is a number you will make up, okay? So you can put in the PO number here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in there. Space down. And then these are your line items. All right, so we're just moving along here. Now here I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns and 5 down. So I need to insert another table and I need to go 6 across. And again, it's going to keep track and I'm going to go 5 down. And inside these, I need item number and a description and a part/model, a quantity, whoops, and I misspelled part. And it couldn't figure that out for me, so I'm going to have to manually type that. Unit price. And a line total. Okay, and then down below that, you are going to have a total that's going to carry all those lines from here. You're going to total that. Okay, so now what do we put in here? So I want you to think about your career. Some of you are in electrical, some welding, some HVAC, some veterinary, etc. So I want you to go to the internet and I want you to find a supplier that's relatable to your business. And it can be any supplier that's out there. It can be one supplier that supplies a bunch of different items. It can be a supplier that supplies things very specific to your career choice in general. And you're going to put your supplier name in here. Okay, and so and you're going to put that in here. And you're going to look for the company's address on their website. Okay. And you're going to put that in here as well. And now we're going to put, and you're going to put their real phone number and you're going to cut and paste their address right in there. Only we're going to do it a little bit different because that's going to get a little messy. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to go find something on the internet. So let's say that we are looking for a MIG welder. And we find this one. And this is the website right up here. And I just clicked on that, right click, copy. And I come back to here and I go to paste that in. Okay. And I'm going to paste this in. That's going to make my document look really ugly if I paste that in. So I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to use my little back arrow, this little arrow over here. That's the undo. So instead of pasting that website in, I want you to go to Insert. And this item here, it says Link. Click on that. And see down here where it says Paste or Type a link? I want you to paste in there. Okay? And you can do that with a Command V or a Control V. If you're on a PC, you can do Control V. If you're on a Mac, that is Command V as in Victor, and it will paste that entire link there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I click where it says text to display. I'm going to put welding company. Anything I would type there will display there. I'm going to click insert and look what it did. Right here makes a much smaller link, but when I hover over it, see how it puts that entire link in there? So if I clicked on this and then click on that, look at that, it opens up that link up there. So when you see these links in places, when you're searching around, that's how they get in place. All right. Okay, so that's how you fill in that information. The ship to, that's going to be you, the address. So this is going to be you, the address. Use your campus. Okay. Contact could be you, and the email is your student email. Okay. What I want you to find are multiple items, 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Put in the description, the part model, if you can find it, like in here, if you choose one of these, come in here, find it. If it's got a part number listed for the particular item, see if it does, put that in there. Some do list them, some do not. See if it does have it in here. Some will list it, some do not. If so, add that in. Whoops. Put the part number in, how many you're purchasing, put in the price, and total it, which would be the quantity times the price. Total that down, adding each one of these lines and putting that total right here. Okay. Any questions on how to fill this part out? Everybody good? Now to save it, click File, create a copy, download a copy. Do you want to download a copy? Yes, click Download. And then I'm going to save this to my desktop here. And I have a place called Demo. And I'm going to call this one Word Demo. And I'm going to save that. Actually, I need to redo that. Create a copy, download a copy, download a copy. I accidentally took the extension off. Word Demo. Don't knock off your extension. Go back to my project, go up to the top, say Start Assignment, click on the rocket, go back to where you saved it. Go back to my demo, find my file. Oh, I called it Sword, I meant Word. Say Submit Assignment, and you'll get some confetti when it's submitted. Boom, boom, boom. And your project is complete. That's how you complete that project. Okay. Now, a couple of things to talk about. One more thing, I do need to share this again. We have coming up, I want to show you in week 4. I want to show you what I'm going to do in week 4. Because we have that holiday on Monday, I'm going to be taking away 2 chapters out of week 4 because you will have less time to do that. Okay, so I want everyone to be aware that I'm reducing down week 4 because you are going to have one less day to work on assignments. So I will be pulling those out in that week because you're going to have one less day to work on things. So I want everyone to be aware of that. The other thing, we are in week 2. Week 2 is midterm, and I hope you won't be disappointed, but I do not do a midterm exam. So sorry to disappoint you, there is no midterm exam, but you do have those assignments. So I expect those to be completed since we don't do an exam. I don't believe in testing just for the sake of testing. You just started the class last week. Now you have assignments. I don't want to do a test upon a test upon a test. So there is no midterm exam. You will have midterm grades. Those midterm grades are what you did last week with what you do this week. Those grades will post Monday anyone that is not passing the course when those grades post will receive counseling from their campus. All right. Any questions before we leave? Everybody good? Then that is it for week 2. And if you have any questions, please send me an email or a text, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. All right. Y'all have a great evening, and I will see you online.